cheese on the taco.
The 90s! Oh, fuck!
All right. That woke me up.
Cool. 90s, it's the 90s, party time, excellent.
Sometimes I wish I could boldly go where no man's gone before.
Do you want to do it again? Whether you ready?
I like the first one.
Maybe we just roll with this, you know?
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
Okay. It's the 90s. So we promised you in the last one we were going to talk about the bangability of Hanna-Barbera characters, but
We lied.
yeah.
Now I'm telling the truth.
Don't trust us.
Yeah.
Ever.
So what
Until
really
we tell you
happened
to.
is twofold. All right. Firstly, we looked at the characters and we're like, this is not going to be as fruitful as we thought because this stems from us we were at the gym one day and we're just riffing off an idea of bangability of cartoon characters. So we were just kind of going through it. It was funny at the time, but when we pigeonholed ourselves.
Well, I think the big thing for me was that a lot of the Hanna-Barbera cartoons that we came up with, I never actually watched in depth, so I could just say I like the drawing.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
And hey, that's a really good drawing of Penelope Pitstop.
Yeah.
But,
I would say, if you don't know about my feelings about Scooby-Doo yet,
Nobody cares.
I fucking hate that show. It sucks. It's horrible.
I mean,
Bad.
I'll agree. And Circle gets the square.
And Circle gets the square.
But I do know the characters. I don't know Josie and the Pussycats.
Long tails and ears for hands.
No, I had to watch a little bit of a background
Yeah.
thing on that. All I know is that they ended up getting a movie with Tara Reid and Rachel Lee Cook. And was the other one
I just remember Rachel Lee Cook.
Rosario Dawson?
Because I just remember Rachel Lee Cook.
Have you noticed that everything has sort of become all about Josie?
Because she was one of my 90s crushes, which we're going to do a future episode on
No,
our
fuck
90s
yeah,
crushes,
we are.
okay?
Hell yeah, we are.
All right. But, so what did we decide to do instead?
So this time we're going to do, because the Hanna-Barbera cartoons were also from a lot of the 60s and 70s.
It's all coming back to you.
Pushing into
Right, that's the second
90s.
part of it, yeah. So we really watched them when we were kids in the 80s. By the time we got to the 90s, we weren't really watching those. They would come on and we would watch them. I did not watch those
We
cartoons.
had a whole new generation of characters that we could look at and be like, oh shit, that's a sexy doodle.
I'm just drawn that way.
Right. Now, we gotta put this in context though. All right. This is the 90s us.
Yes.
Going back to how we felt about it in the 90s because, otherwise it's weird.
It's a little weird if we're looking at them now.
You sick little monkey!
Yeah.
But looking at it through the eyes of a teenage boy in the 90s, yeah. These are cartoon crushes. We'll call them cartoon crushes.
Cartoon crushes from the 90s.
It's the 90s.
First show up,
we got
Dragon Ball Z.
Is that you, Dad?
Dragon Ball Z.
Now, we chose to start with Dragon Ball Z. Why? Because there's not a whole lot of selection here. This is kind of barren as far as female characters. Now, there is a huge list of female characters that I looked up, but I did not know any of them.
I don't know who you are.
Yeah, a lot of them are just bit players.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, to squeeze a list of 3 out, we had to include a character that I actually don't know anything about, and we're basically it's not even a real choice. So, of the choices, we're just going to eliminate that choice. We've got Chi-Chi.
I'm the Ox King's daughter, Chi-Chi.
And we've got Bulma.
I'll bet with his brawny good looks, he's come here to rescue me.
He was talking about Android 18.
Big, strong boy rescues me.
We just kind of tacked that on because, I
There's a
like the
whole
character.
thing about
The
that.
character design. It's the only female character I know because there's not a lot of chicks
Right.
in the show.
Right. But breaking it down to just Chi-Chi and Bulma,
Yeah.
I gotta go Bulma.
I gotta go Bulma too.
rescue!
And it's attitude. Attitude more than anything.
Now, I have to say, here's what I will say. In the entire pantheon of cartoons, neither of them.
True.
So,
True.
like, that's the biggest thing. Is like, in the entire pantheon of cartoons, I would not choose either. But why Bulma over Chi-Chi? So we gotta do that.
We'll frame it like this. Given, like, it's gun to your head, out of these characters, this is who you choose.
Right. So why do you choose Bulma over Chi-Chi?
I think it's Bulma's kind of bubbly attitude.
You're actually kind of cute.
And I liked her voice characterization in the American dub. I feel like it was cutesy enough to maintain that bubbly attitude. And I mean, both of them really just have kind of an ugly streak to them.
And I think this also goes like, these are just not very well developed characters at all. Mm-hmm. They are antagonistic. Like, not antagonists, obviously, but like they're meant to be kind of like the nagging friend or wife or whatever. Like, they're just not great characterizations of females, I would say. Especially Chi-Chi. Like, Chi-Chi is just
the housewife.
Yeah, she's kind of a mean housewife.
Yes.
Bulma.
But like, I think also Goku's very childish, so she has to,
and so maybe kind of maybe that is that like, but obviously smothered. That doesn't work. That would not work for me,
right?
Like as and
sure.
And I guess you can kind of tell by how we're talking about this is like we start out with the bangability and like we're talking about like how do you feel about a relationship with this? So we've kind of we've kind of pulled it down and like I'd like to hump her right in the back. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, if we're breaking it down that way, I got to go Chi-Chi.
I would go with Android 18.
Well, of course Android 18, but you removed her from the selection,
right? But if we're just talking about bangability, it's Android 18 all the way.
18, yes,
yeah, Android 18.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. Like, I think part of that cold demeanor as being a robot is kind of like, it's a little bit like, she's captivating.
I bet there's parts inside.
there's parts inside you just don't know about.
There's little servos and like motors that kind of accentuate. We're gonna
pleasure motors in Android 18.
Activate pleasure function.
Don't worry. It's Android 18, not 16, you know.
You sick little monkey.
Oh, God.
Jesus. All right. Anyways.
Good God.
For me, it's Chi-Chi because she is intelligent. She does have, like, when she's not being a bitch.
Yeah.
She is nice. It's fine. I mean, she ends up with Vegeta. And you made an observation.
You're saying Bulma?
Bulma.
Yeah, you said Chi-Chi.
I'm sorry. Okay, Bulma. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. But you made an observation about the relationships.
Oh, yeah. But I just thought it was funny that when you look at the characters and who they're married to, they kind of balance each other out. You have Vegeta with Bulma, and where Vegeta and Chi-Chi are kind of like the more stern and less humorous kind of characters. Yeah, they're the serious characters, and you have
they're the
Bulma.
Jack Lemmon to the Walter Matthau.
Yeah, and then you have Bulma and Goku, who seem like they could have been more of a match than but opposites attract, says MC Scat Cat.
Yeah. So
I mean, Paul Abdul.
I don't really have anything much more to contribute to this because like as we stated, like these are not the top selections and not a lot to choose from and discuss.
Yeah.
So on to Daria.
Daria. When did that run?
Oh, we didn't even talk about like when. So Dragon Ball Z ran from 1996. I'm not looking off camera to 1998.
No, he's got it memorized on a piece of paper.
100%. Daria. Okay, so firstly, Daria started where? She started in
Beavis and Butthead.
Beavis and Butthead.
We want you to be our woman.
So wait, can you hear this? No, you probably can't. Hang on.
Let's go break something.
Oh yeah, this was from a customer of mine who got this directly from Mike Judge's personal collection.
Yeah.
Anywho,
so Beavis and Butthead aired from 1993 to 1997, and she appeared early. She appeared in an episode called Scientific Stuff.
In 1993.
In 1993, so she was there right away. She was only a bit character.
Mhm.
She was like the serious character to their idiocy.
Yeah.
She was a straight woman, so to speak.
This time I want you to work with Daria Morgendorfer, our straight A student.
Diarrhea.
But they also, like, they weren't, they made fun of her a little bit, but, like, it was one of the few characters that they talked to and, like, had an actual relationship with. Like, it wasn't good,
Beavis and Butthead are complete imbeciles.
Yeah, she's right.
but, like, they had an actual, like, relationship with Daria, so to speak. You know, as much as they had any relationship with anybody
Right.
outside of the two of
I
them.
mean, they also had a relationship with Stewart.
This is cool, huh, guys? Shut up, Stuart.
Yeah. So Daria started pretty much at the end of Beavis and Butthead.
Yep.
They changed the animation style a little bit. They smoothed it over because the characters, I think, if you rough them up and made them more like, because they were thicker lines and they were smoother lines, if you were to rough them up and thin them out a little bit, the characters
almost
would fit.
ended up looking like Powerpuff Girls-y or
It does have a very Powerpuff Girls
Tartakovsky kind of look.
All right, so we have quite a few to choose from here. So first we have Daria,
Hi, I'm Daria. Go to hell.
the protagonist, so to speak. Her best friend Jane,
Yo, hi, I'm Dolores.
her sister Quinn,
Quinn Morgendorfer.
the
Haley.
cheerleader Brittany,
I'm a cheerleader.
and then kind of like it was kind of like Jane, Daria's friend, but like it was like an acquaintance rather. And there was Jody.
Vice President of Student Council, editor of yearbook, and I'm also on the tennis team.
Those are the five main female characters that appeared over and over again, and they get more and more tertiary as I went through the list.
Yep.
Like, actually, I would have to swap Jane and Quinn, because Quinn is in more than Jane, but Jane is more crucial to the character.
Sure.
Characterization
best
of Daria.
friend.
Yeah, best friend.
Yeah.
And then Brittany appears less often because they didn't have any direct tie to that. They were just, it was in school.
Yep.
And it was Brittany and Kevin. So anyways, we're getting too far into the weeds
popular
here.
jockey cheerleader.
Yeah. So we have those five.
Business.
All right. Who are you leaning towards?
I gotta say that for me, I think, because when we had talked about, we kind of hashed things out a little bit prior to recording this. I gotta go your stereotypical dumb blonde cheerleader, Brittany, for the fact that when you look at Daria, she's a negative Nancy.
Daria was like, we immediately ruled out Daria.
Yeah,
Like,
impossible.
She's too
callous.
She needs to grow up a lot.
Yes.
Even as a young man, she needs to grow up a lot before she's ready to be with anybody.
Right.
And I think even like her dating Trent showed that. Like that she had a lot of growing up to do.
Yeah.
Because she thinks she's adult because she's cynical and, you know, she looks at the world in this very dry way, but like she's not really an adult. She's a kid being cynical. And she's got to grow up about that.
And I think it goes towards attitude a lot.
So I guess if you're talking about, because granted they're cartoon characters, so like we're not physically attracted to the cartoon representations because they don't look like people.
Right.
But obviously Quinn and Brittany were depicted as beautiful, and Daria and Jane were depicted as like
plain Jane.
Plain, or you know, maybe we might have found them attractive if they were real people, but like they were not supposed to be like gorgeous or anything like that. So why between Quinn and Brittany as the two attractive characters, why Brittany over Quinn?
I think because Quinn was constantly worried about her popularity and would do a bunch of shitty shit. You know what I mean? She would just act like a shitty person.
Right.
Right.
She had like, whereas Brittany is just like
airheaded. Right? Where Quinn was, I mean, she had moments of that vulnerability and caring towards Daria and all that. But overall, the person was too worried about social status and who she could almost step on to get to where she needed to be.
Right.
Whereas, I mean, I could look past the being unintelligent as long as you get the right personality or the right attitude.
Yeah, she was a sweetheart. She was more or less like she was a good-natured person. Her characterization was good-natured. She was always she was never manipulative like Quinn could be.
Right.
Although I have to say, like, Quinn, they did have the character of Quinn sort of grow up over time. They always had to push her back into that role. But I think over the seasons that it aired, they tried to actually develop the characters a little bit.
Yeah, I think we're putting Bowser to sleep here.
Because they pushed Daria. They pushed Daria forward. Because they for a couple seasons, they didn't bother. The characters were immutable. But I think towards the end, they started to actually develop the characters. Because Daria started to see how she was negatively impacting her life. They had the whole, like, they were fighting, her and Jane.
Yeah.
And then Quinn kind of, like, realized that being popular wasn't, like, the most important thing in the world. So, I would say in regards of that, I would want to bang Quinn over Brittany.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd definitely be trying.
Well, I got two
because Quinn is at least smart, and I don't think I could handle that. But my choice would be Jane.
Okay.
Because she's artsy. I like that. She's weird.
Two other big...
And she probably would be into me.
Two other big reasons.
Titties?
Yeah. Her boobs.
Yeah. Two other big titties. Come on. Yeah.
Brittany had the biggest boobs.
I've always been a butt guy.
I like boobs.
I'm fine
like boobs
with
and
little
butts.
titties. I'm like,
but I like
okay.
boobs.
I'm like, matter of fact, boobs. I don't necessarily like boobs that are too big.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I like butts.
Oh my God.
I like big butts, and I cannot lie.
All right, moving on from that.
Yeah. But okay, wait. You have to do a whole thing on that. Why can't I talk about Jane a little bit more?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Yeah. All right, I'm done. Shut the fuck up. No, I like Jane's personality. She was dry. She was cynical like Daria, but not in such a bad negative way. Like,
I just thought she was kind of boring.
She is a little boring. But
but there's no. But I feel like her and Daria were just consistently monotone, and there was no energy to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then you look, and they're just 90s grunge kids, too.
Yeah. And so, like, looking at it from a 90s, standpoint of being a 90s kid, like, because I think Jane would be more adventurous. Like, yeah, maybe she just sits around because I think that's a somewhat negative influence from Daria.
Okay.
But I think that if Jane were to have a friend who was a little bit more outgoing, she would be way more outgoing. Like, she's the outgoing one of the two. So if she had a friend that was more outgoing than her, she would probably ride along with that. And then we also have to talk about, like, so Jodie was another character, and she was kind of like, she was very tertiary. She didn't have a lot of character development. So, like, I feel
side character.
She's side character.
The tertiary.
She's like the straight man, so to speak, the straight woman, because she was normal. Like, just regularly normal. She was intelligent.
Just a person.
She was a person. She was intelligent, relatively attractive. She had a boyfriend. Like, she was good at school. Like, nothing went wrong with that character. I don't think there was any real drama around that character.
Over-exaggerated.
Yeah. Maybe there's one episode where she was part of drama or whatever, but, like, as far as I could tell, her life, there's nothing in her life, or nothing going wrong in her life. And she just wasn't, like, I feel like I would be into a person like that, like the personality, but there's just not enough there to really, like, remember. Like, I barely remember the character's name. I didn't.
Yeah, that's true.
Remember Haley?
Yeah. the sister
that's
Daria didn't
That's
have.
Daria's sister's name is Haley. I mean, Quinn.
It's not.
HQ. I mean, they share similar letters. There's an I in there, I think. I mean, it's not. Yeah.
It depends on how you spell it.
Yeah. I guess that's true.
They
might share one letter.
Yeah. An A? Wait, no. There's no A's in Quinn.
All right. All right. So we covered on Dragon Ball Z. That's like little boy, like power fantasy kind of cartoon. We have Daria, which that was a more serious.
Morgendorfer.
Yeah. I think
it's Morgendorfin time.
That, especially in contrasting it to Beavis and Butthead, that's a more serious, grounded show.
Yes.
It's like almost like watching, like, it could have been a regular series.
Yeah.
But there are things that you can do in cartoons that you don't realize are done in cartoons that you just can't do in, like, they don't go across very well in real world stuff. Like, I can think of like a lot of Disney shows. The way the show is depicted, it's like they would be better as cartoons because they're doing cartoon-like stuff. And it's weird. But, that's a more serious show. But every kid's real ultimate power fantasy. Now, this is the original power fantasy for kids. Anybody who watched it already knows what we're talking about. Those of you that are waiting, you're holding out,
with
wondering.
bated breath.
Yes, because it is the original Marvel movie.
Previously on X-Men.
The X-Men.
The
Not the
animated
movies,
series.
obviously.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like, so much of Marvel, what Marvel is, was influenced by that show. And actually a lot of cartoons. Like, this is tangential, but like, so a lot of Batman lore is actually influenced by that show, which is a phenomenal show. Like, we got to talk about that sometime for sure.
What do you mean Batman lore is?
Harley Quinn's characterization has a lot to do. Mr. Freeze is a big one. Like, Mr. Freeze, we're not diving down this rabbit hole. We're not diving down, but a lot of like modern Batman lore is influenced by the Batman cartoon.
Why are you talking Batman?
I'm not. I was just talking about. I don't remember where I was going with that.
Well, I don't know
it was
either.
superheroes. It's superheroes.
Okay, but you had said
I'll look at it over in the
yeah.
the thing.
You said something about X-Men being Batman lore.
I don't know now.
I don't fucking know either.
No,
but
I might have
yes, Harley Quinn. Yes, Poison Ivy. Bruce Timm's characterization of those. Yes, but we're not talking about that.
Because I was saying that a lot of modern day X-Men has been influenced by the cartoon, and I was saying just like Batman.
Oh,
yeah.
That you guys didn't get that either. I didn't get it.
I said that.
Well, the way you phrased it was weird.
All right, so let's back up a little bit. We're talking
X-Men.
X-Men. All right, so we have a whole roster of characters. We have Rogue. End of list.
That's it.
That's the whole
there's
list.
No other one.
There are no other ones.
Why don't you boys calm down?
Psylocke.
Nice doggy.
Sorry. I gotta go Psylocke on this one.
Okay. Just so that we have the other ones. We had Storm, Jean Grey, and Jubilee were also on the list.
Yes.
I didn't even have to think about it. As soon as he proposed X-Men, I knew exactly who my character was because my favorite character is Gambit, and so automatically it's Rogue. Plus, like, she's got a great personality. She's a firecracker.
She was drawn great.
Oh yeah, she was depicted very well.
But Psylocke, you could actually touch.
Yes.
She had a skimpier outfit, and I like the darker hair.
You know what my favorite thing about Rogue's outfit was? The belt that had no purpose. the belt with no purpose at all.
I'll tell you what it was. It was her outfit was holding up the belt. And that's all it was.
It went with it though. Like if you were to
nice
draw her
accessory
without the belt, I would be like, something's wrong here. I might not know it right away, but I'd be like, something's wrong with this picture.
Yeah.
Gotta have the belt, gotta have the jacket.
I will say though that the attitude of
wild.
Yeah, it was.
I would have to say though, like based on the way they're drawn,
cool.
I would probably have liked Jean Grey's hair better.
Okay,
I
like the big fluffy hair of Rogue.
Oh, we're also sticking with just the heroes on this particular one. We are not considering the villains because Emma Frost would easily be on this list for me.
Yeah. Well, then, because she flip flops, right?
I'm putting her in the villain camp.
Okay,
I'm putting her in the villain camp because if as a cartoon was concerned, she was a villain.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. In lore, she's gone back and forth. So yeah,
right. But I do like the southern charm of Rogue.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
sure.
But you have a very good and valid point. I think relationship wise, personality wise, absolutely. But as a non-superpowered being who would now, I know that eventually Rogue in the comic book lore, she eventually got control over her powers where that didn't happen, and she was able to hook up with Gambit.
See, now if that's the case,
but I'm no Gambit. That's the other thing,
right?
I'm not Gambit.
Yeah.
So
very few.
I had no chance.
Very few of us are.
Definitely not you.
Come on, man.
There was a kid at the Comic-Con, Saratoga Comic-Con, not New York City. He came up and he had like the cowl. It was blue.
Oh, yeah.
And everything. He was dressed like an X-Man, which Gambit never really did. But he had that part on, and I go, "Oh, you must be Gambit." And he goes, "No, I'm Cyclops." And I was like, in my head, I was like, disappointing. Like, you went from the best character to the worst character,
and just bam.
bam.
So as far as like, okay, now that we got these out of the way, right?
Yep. Okay, wait. Okay, real quick, let's talk about the other characters. Okay, I would totally go for Jean Grey.
Yes.
She's just not, she's more plain, and she had that like, she was in the cartoon, realistically, she was two things. She was the plaything between Cyclops and Wolverine, as far as characterization, and then she was just another Professor X. She was like the field version of Professor X, because she basically did the same thing. I mean, she was technically more powerful, and then you had the Phoenix Saga or whatever, but like, Jubilee was our introductory character. Like, that's kind of the point of view character, at least from the start of the show, because that's how they open. Right. And then we're going in
chasing her down.
She's becoming a new X-Man. So we're being introduced through Jubilee's eyes, so to speak. And she was closer to our age.
Right.
And so in that regard, like, I had a little crush on Jubilee, but like, she's not Rogue.
No. There's some scenes where Rogue's drawn to fucking, I'll say, scale.
And then
and the angles are great for a 90s kids cartoon.
And Storm
Storm was, I mean, power wise, fuck, she was cool.
Well, yeah,
as hell.
she's an Omega level mutant.
Yeah. And yes.
For those of you that don't know, Omega level mutant means that there is no upper limit to their power, at least as far as we know. That's for them. I'm sure you know that.
Yes, absolutely knew that. Sure did.
Yeah, of course.
I'm here for the ass and tits, not for the history lesson. So, or the science behind it. But she was hot too. And she had a fucking smoking drawn body too. Ooh,
villain. She's villain.
Ooh. Okay. So
think of some other characters.
This will go back to the comic books real quick. But did you like her full head of hair better? Did you like when they did her like punk aspect and she had the fucking mohawk? Because that was fucking cool.
Oh, Jubilee?
No. Storm.
Oh,
and Savage Land's Rogue. Anyways, mohawk or no mohawk?
See, I feel like in real life, the mohawk would not play, but as a cartoon, it plays.
Yeah, because it stands up a lot better and it's flowy.
But here's what I'm picturing now is like, I'm picturing, she was in Walking Dead, and she was like the main bodyguard female warrior in Black Panther.
Oh, Michonne? Yeah.
I picture her, and I'm like,
Denai Guerrero.
I don't know anything about. All I know is that
I don't know how to say her last name.
It wasn't the first. One of the she was in something, and I watched it, and I was like, damn, that like it was how her warrior self was depicted. It was just like because like she looks good bald, like, you know, not a lot of people definitely pull that off. She looks good like that. She can pull that off. But like that was like a detractor. Like, oh, I like hair, but like, you know, but yeah, after she started doing that warrior stuff with that dress on,
Kia. Okay, give me a character that we omitted because they weren't on this list of 3 shows. That, like, your top female 90s character.
You caught me off guard here.
Yeah, that was the point.
But that's the thing, is like, I gotta think through this, because I'm just gonna say Rogue, but she's on this list already.
Yeah,
because that's like,
so maybe like an honorable mention.
Okay, do they have to be outside of these particular shows? Okay,
outside
because Scarlet Witch and Emma Frost are easily on that list.
Okay,
so so not these shows. that we watched in the 90s.
Yep.
See, we didn't come up with a lot of other shows.
No, we didn't. But
That's the
there's
thing.
other shows out there.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
See, I'm a process guy. I take a little bit of while. So this is bad. This is going to be dead air. This is going to be dead air right now. Like, we're not talking about anything.
Nope.
People are tuning out right now. What are we going to do? Fuck. It's the 90s. The 90s. Party time. Excellent. Show's over.
Fuck it.